Hi everyone, welcome to FitNCalm's Sunday Live. And many of you have been joining us live every time, and some of you are joining us, for the first time. A super warm welcome to everyone who's watching this. So you can just leave us a hi in the comments if you're watching this. And I'm Kushpinder, and at FitNCalm we strive to bring you yoga on as well as yoga off the mat. So apart from sharing daily yoga videos, we bring to you these Sunday lives, and they give us an opportunity for us to bring you more knowledge on different aspects of holistic living, and also an opportunity to dive a little deeper into the ancient Indian wisdom and knowledge. And today I'm personally very excited for the session that we will be having, on the Vedic Vastu. We have someone very special today. We have Sudha Pai ji with us. She's a Vedic Vastu expert. She studied Vedic Vastu Shastra from the Ved Vijnana Mahavidyapeeth of Art of Living, Bangalore. And she has a rich experience of over 12 years in applied Vedic Vastu, and she's worked on more than 1,500 projects, which include corporate, schools, hospitals, businesses, temples, homes, hospitals. And she's worked with people around the globe, from India to US, Canada, South America, Singapore, Fiji, Netherlands. So you can just imagine the kind of experience she had. And I've also personally had, the opportunity to learn from her. And I'm super grateful that, Sudhaji could join us today. Thank you so much, Sudhaji, for joining us. You can say hello to the audience.
Hello, everyone. I'm super excited to be with you today.
And, she's so passionate about spreading the word about Vedic Vastu. In fact, it's really interesting that it's, how there are so many superstitions around these things and not many people know about it. So today we'll look a little bit deeper into, what is this ancient science, and, how it can translate into our everyday life, and few tips and tricks for us as well to take back home, just like every time we do on all our Sunday webinars. So shall we get started, Sudhaji?
Yes. Shall we?
Yes, yeah. So, I wanted to ask you a few basic things. Many people would not know what is Vedic Vastu Shastra, and is it a superstition or is it a science? Because many people just believe that, believing in what direction you see, all of these things are just superstition. They are not really, it's not really a science. And from what's the backing? Like, how old is it, and is it a part of our ancient Indian scriptures? So could you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes. Vastu Shastra is nothing but, our ancient knowledge from the Vedic times in India, which has its roots in Vedic times. And because it is Vedic, it goes back by, minimum 10,000 years. 10,000 years ago, all these Vedic scriptures were, compiled. And this compilation of, building technology that was already prevalent in the country, which were based on the laws of nature. So it cannot be superstition at all. It is now considered, some people consider it as superstitious because they probably do not spend enough time to understand the scientific nature of the, Vedic knowledge. And anything ancient need not be superstitious. We have to just invest little time and understand what goes behind it. And Vedic Vastu is nothing but an architectural treatise which compiles all different methods of putting together a building. Because, when you build a house, what are we doing? We are enclosing a certain space with 4 walls. So suddenly space, what was in the open nature, it becomes a closed system. So when any closed system, like even our human body is a closed system, it is subject to death and decay. So over a period of time, if it is not properly aligned to nature that such a decay can happen soon. So the Vedic methods of building home is in such a way that there is a friction-free movement of energy inside the closed space of your homes. It can be any building, not necessarily residential space. It can be your office space also. So there is friction-free flow of energy patterns inside the house, which is very much in sync with what is outside in nature. So that is what Vastu achieves, and these are based on various scientific phenomena that are happening. We are floating in vibrations of different types, isn't it? So these vibrations, they may be coming from the sun and the moon and the stars and different celestial bodies, and all, as well as your own earth where we are. So these vibrations are both unseen and unmeasured. So these Vedic Vastu principles are based on experience, of over thousands and thousands of years of experience. It was put together by ancient Rishi Munis. Our Rishi Munis are the seers, are the sages, who can be equated to present day modern, the scientists. They observed everything that was happening in the nature and within the body. What was the relationship between the environment and the forces outside, observed it and compiled together, and it was put into practice also. It's not that they just compiled and gave it, it was put into, then you will, even now you see, for example, in Nepal, several years ago, when the earthquake happened, the temple, which has been there for thousands of years, nothing happened to the temple, except everything else was in rattles. So why is because it was built on the principles of Vastu Shastra. So it is built to last long. So these are the ways, modern methods and Vastu, they differ in many ways. If you can give me 1 more minute for this particular question. Can I go ahead?
Sure.
Yeah. So, when I said you asked, it's very important because people should know that this is not something mystical and mythical or anything. It is very much scientific because Vastu Shastra takes care of the four fundamental forces that operate on us. For us to be healthy, we need to understand these four energy fields. They are, in fact, this is listed by the modern physicists, okay, as the four fundamental energies that have an impact on your life. These are the electromagnetism or the light factor, the light and other vibrations coming from celestial bodies like sun. That is the first one, that has a direct impact on you. We are there because sun is there, we are in the solar system, very important. So the way solar light affects us is studied and put to use in Vastu Shastra. Secondly, the other most important, because we are on Earth, planet Earth, the gravitational force. It's very important how it has a bearing on our cells, the functioning of our cells. So that is the second force that is taken into account in Vastu Shastra. And the other two important are very unseen and they are working at nano level because they are acting on the cells. They are the strong nuclear force and the weak nuclear force. These are needed. Gurudev Ravi Shankar, my spiritual master, he says, as long as one cell loves the next cell and they are holding on to each other, you live healthily. So this is the strong nuclear energy, force. And the other one, weak energy force, is necessary for the decay to happen after we pass on. So all these forces are very important, and Vastu Shastra takes care of these energies. And definitely, I want to again stress on the fact that Vastu Shastra is very much scientific, and I would say it's a super science because it takes care of things that work at the quantum level, at the nano level also, and at the galaxy level. All the sacred geometry that we see within us is there in the skies also. So in the galaxies also, all the helical movement that happens in the space happens within us, within the house also. So the Vastu rules, simply put, make your energy system inside your home as it should be totally harmonized with what is outside. So here you go.
I think probably because it's a super science and people don't understand, maybe that's why many people consider it to be, a superstition. And, I remember hearing from you about so many accounts of where Vastu had helped people in various ways to get out of things. I would also like you to share these stories because I think, it's really important that people understand the importance. And that brings me to my next question. I would like you to tell our audience, and I would also like to know that how does Vedic Vastu work? How and why do directions they have an impact on our physical well-being, on our mental well-being, on our societal, like everything, on relationships?
Yes. See, Vastu Shastra by itself is a very limited field. It works alongside, it has lot of inputs from astrology and Yoga Shastra also. For us to say a particular direction is good or bad, we lean on Yoga Shastra. For example, when we do yogasanas and the pranayams, what happens during pranayam, if, all of you, your viewers are, into yoga, very much into yoga, so they will understand. So the pranayam, when you do pranayam, what happens is the energy flow, the flow of prana along Ida Nadi Pravaha, that is your left side the body. There are three major nadis, are the channels for the prana to move. One is the Ida Nadi, the other is the Pingala Nadi, and one is controlled by the moon and the other is controlled by the sun. So when this flow of energy along the spine is happening in a very systematic manner, and there is a balance between the flow, that is when we experience optimum energy, and the Kundalini energy also moves higher and higher, indicating your development in your consciousness levels. So and some lucky few will reach that blissful state of awareness, conscious awareness. So the same thing in a body, if it is happening, we consider a home, the inanimate home. In the modern architectural methods don't consider the homes around you as a living entity, whereas Vedic system of architecture treats it as a living entity and treats it just like your body. And there also, Ingala, do you know that Ida Nadi Pravaha and Pingala Nadi Pravaha applies very much to your homes also. So what is the left side and the right side in a home? How do you determine that? Depends on the one thing that changes every day, that is your sun. Sunrise happens every day, sunrise and sunrise. So we take the point of sunrise as the point of reference, and from there we draw a line directly, straight line, 180 degrees from east to west we connect. And whatever is on the left hand side, as you're standing in the center of the house and facing the eastern direction, rising sun you're facing, and whatever comes to your left hand side, which corresponds to your own left hand side of the body, is the Pingala Nadi Pravaha zone in your own homes. You can do that in your own homes right now. Stand in the center of the house, face the eastern direction, and whatever you see on the left hand side. So that, I'll make it very simple for you. What comes on the left hand side is the northwestern direction. There is a diagram, if you can put it up.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I just,
yeah. So as you share, I will, this is nice. So if you apply here, when I'm saying center, it is the Brahma zone, and the red color on top we see as east. I'm facing eastern direction, and on the whole of left hand side, commencing from northwest in the below, bottom side, northwest, north and northeast, and including east. These are the positive directions. The Ida Nadi Pravaha directions, which are very beneficial to your body. And whatever gets heated up because of the sun's movement, commencing from southeast, south, southwest, and the western direction, this is known as the Pingala Nadi Pravaha. So very simple, what we do in Vastu Shastra is we achieve maximum energy inflow into the house in the Ida Nadi zones, and we restrict the vibrations entry from Pingala Nadi zones. That means from northwest, north, northeast, and eastern direction, we are giving maximum openings like windows and doors. The number of openings and the size of the openings, they are all, it should be more and more towards these directions in the Ida Nadi zones. And in the Pingala Nadi zones, you keep smaller opening. We don't say don't keep windows in the south or anything. No, we need ventilation. So we do give windows and we do give doors, but they are of smaller size, in the Pingala Nadi zone, so that we balance. Because in Ida Nadi zone area, what happens is cooling happens, like in our own body. Cooling happens because that is the zone controlled by the moon. And, for example, if you observe the sun's movement, sun is in the north only in the night. In the middle of the night at 12 o'clock. So it is the cooling zone. The northern zone happens to be the cooling zone. Directly sunrise don't usually fall there. And, in the Pingala Nadi zone, the heating happens. So we try to control the energies like that. This kind of a observation is not there in modern methods of building. It is very important to understand the flow of electromagnetism, that is pranic. I would like to, when the picture is on, I would like to inform that east, you see the top part, the east, that happens to be the source direction of pranic energy. Pranic energy is directly connected to sun's movement. And north to south is the source direction of, that is gravitational pull. So north is also a beneficial direction. East is also a beneficial direction. Northeast being a combination of north and east is also a good direction. So basically, we let in lot of energy to come in from Ida Nadi zone, and keep that zone very, very light. This is something we have to understand. How we build the house, number of walls, the kind of loading that you give to Ida Nadi zone is very, very minimal. We give glasses more and more and big windows, so that the heaviness in terms of the brick walls is reduced in the Ida Nadi zone. It's simply because it is based on the scientific equation. Energy and matter are inversely proportionate. You want to increase the energy of a particular zone, reduce matter there. The loading. Matter is nothing but loading. You reduce the loading, the energy is more. So do I reduce a loading in good energy side or the bad energy side? I have to reduce loading in a positive direction, that is Ida Nadi, because you want to maximize the positivity. So if you want to control the negative vibrations coming from Pingala Nadi Pravaha zone, that is your southern sides and the western side, you have to add load. That is why Vastu homes have heaviness towards southern side and the western side and lightness towards Ida Nadi. We give bigger halls with lot of openings and maybe sit outs and balconies and extensions and open terraces towards only Ida Nadi Pravaha zones, and we control negative energy coming in by not giving such openings in the Pingala Nadi zones. So this is how, directions. And you asked a very good question. How do directions influence us? This is a beautiful question. If you understand this part, you have understood Vastu Shastra actually. Because, everything in this creation is made up of 5 elements. 5 elements, that is your space element, which is the most subtle, then the wind element, the fire element, water, and also the the earth element. These 5 elements are spread across these directions. For example, east and southeast are connected. There is another picture that you can put up, the colorful one. So the east and southeast, if you see, it is given in red color representing fire element. And then you have south and southwest, that represents earth element. You know, you can see the picture and go about it. But what is more important is, I'll try to make you understand, because we have very limited time here. See, we will take the yellow color, the south and the southwest. Yellow represents earth element. And in our body, how it works, we have to see the connection. In our body, what is the most heavy thing in our body? It is the bones, isn't it? The bones. So see, you observe directly in homes which has no earth element, that is, which has a lot of openings to south and southwest. That means less loading is happening. That means lot of negative energy, Pingala Nadi Pravaha, the streaming of negativity is more in from these directions. In such households, people experience all kinds of joint pains, joint problems, to you, bones, brittle bones. This is rampant. You can just go on. Already now you have something, something about Vastu Shastra. Whenever people, complain of joint pains and arthritis, directly in their homes, southern side and the southwestern side is said to be having Vastu dosh. That is, weakness in the Vastu. So that means earth element is imbalanced. It is not expressed properly. Similarly, if you see, east and southeast refers to fire element. Fire in us is exhibited as ego and anger. Whenever there is imbalance in these two, in this element, fire element, because maybe your kitchen is not there, your fire based activity within the house, which is nothing but your kitchen, is not in these two directions. It's somewhere else. Maybe it is in the north or the west. What happens is imbalance in fire element takes place, and that has a direct bearing on your anger, how you express your fire element, and also the digestion part and hormonal imbalance. All these metabolism related things which are connected to fire element get impaired usually over a period of time. If you live in such homes for a prolonged period, it is definitely seen in us. Especially women will experience hormonal problems like thyroid, and the rise in the diabetes all across the world is mainly because of lack of planning of kitchen in the southeast and eastern directions, especially southeastern directions, because diabetes is something related to your Nabhi chakra, that is your Manipura chakra, and that is the fire element zone. The moment there is no kitchen in that corner, the fire gets imbalanced. It has a direct link with your body, and in your body, Nabhi chakra does not function properly. That means the organs around it, connected to that particular Nabhi, supported by that chakra of Manipura, that gets impaired, and the pancreas starts to function, less and less, and people develop all this insulin related problem. This is how, directions and your own self and the movement of prana along your system, that is your 7 chakras, they get blocked. There is a direct bearing. I can go on about it because there is another layer. It's like peeling onions. There is one more layer, that is, these directions, 4 cardinal directions of north, east, west and south, are connected to our mind in such a way that mind has 4 modes, that is mana, buddhi, chitta and ahankara. That is your mind, intellect, memory and ego. These are connected to these directions. As I said, fire, if fire is imbalanced, it has a bearing on ego, and all these people having a mental issue, like especially depression, depressed. These days, earlier nobody spoke of depression. These days, everybody, I've never seen a household which does not speak about depression. So this depression is directly connected to northern direction, when the Jala Tattva, water element. So whenever water, mind, when people having mental problem are known as, they're called as lunatics, isn't it? So it is moon, connected to moon. So I'm saying, when the north is not giving you enough energy, suppose if you are living in a flat or something, and the wall is a common wall between your neighboring apartment, north is completely closed, there is no energy, no light coming from that direction, the lady of the house will usually, be more prone towards depression. They easily fall into depression. So this is how the directions, the elements, everything are linked, and it has a direct bearing on the body. And body and mind and spirit also, all the three are taken care in Vastu. This is how it is.
I think it's so very beautiful. Like from listening to you, this is what I felt, that our body, anyways, we take care of, but our home is like an extension of our body. That if there are any problems in it, then it shows up in the body. That just
Yeah.
reminded me of that saying that we have, whatever is there,
Yeah.
in the universe, the same. Like,
Yeah, yat pinde tat brahmande. Yes, yes. So that is how, and this guy, that is what, whenever people talk about, sometimes they ask, what is the difference? Why should I go for Vastu? Is it not age old? Is it relevant now? I would say, as long as sun rises in the east, and as long as you're living on earth, it is applicable, because these are based on the natural principles. This is not based on any religion or any rule of the land particular to a country. It is not like, it is universally applicable, and it's working on the principles of natural phenomena. So I would say, everyone, this is like something very, very relevant in present times, because our kind of life is so complex these days, and it helps man really, in case he wants to come get rid of his problems. As you were asking me if I can quote some case studies, like I will give you one small example. One of my nieces friend's son, I have a lot of nieces and nephews. So one lady, she was living in a different city from where I live, and her son, she has only one son, and he was in final year of engineering, and he always had a wonderful academic background. He always studied well, and he stood well, and he was a meritorious child. But when they built the new house and they shifted to this new house, after that, what happened, he started his engineering, and he was somehow, for some reason, strange reason, he was not able to clear the papers. Every year they were accumulating, and he was in the final year, and he had 14 papers of previous years that he had to clear for him to get the degree. So at that point of time, I was consulted, and I was in my city, and on phone I was talking to her, and I was asking her to describe me about the new house, and what is there in the fire element zone, especially the southeastern zone. Later I will tell you how every corner, every direction has a bearing on a particular individual in a family. Southeast is connected to sons in the family, unmarried sons in the family. That is why I was asking her to describe the southeastern side. I just simply directly asked her, do you have any water feature in that zone? Do you have any depressions? And she told me she has a 10,000 liter capacity underground water tank. right beside her kitchen. The kitchen was in the southeast. At the same time, in the outside in the plot, they had a huge underground water storage tank. So what happens when you keep something related to water in fire zone? Fire diminishes, fire goes down. That is what happened for the boy. Because southeast is connected to sons in the family. So he had started to somehow, he was a bright kid, all right, but he somehow, energies don't lie. Nature never goes against its own laws. So it had to happen, and this boy started to accumulate papers. But I'll cut short the story, and we did the remedies, and we did the remedies within a week. It's simple as putting some copper. I asked her, please don't wait till I come to your place. You please get some 1 kilogram of copper and bury in between that depression of water tank, underground water tank, and the kitchen. Whatever space is there, you just insert copper, because copper represents fire element. So that particular remedy was done, and you won't believe, within 2 months the final examination came. He cleared all his 14 backlog papers and also the fresh papers of that year, and he finished his final year, and he passed all in one go, one attempt. So this is like a success story for me. And see, like this I can give you thousands of stories, different directions. I can give you different stories. So, and I would say, these remedies are very, very powerful. But analysis is most important. For us to know what is bothering, we should know the connection between the zones. And you don't have to treat the whole house for any particular problem. Only the related direction, if you treat, it starts to, the energy block, whatever is there, which is coming, which is giving a friction. It's like, suppose you're driving a car and the wheels alignment has mismatched. What happens? Wear and tear happens, isn't it? And there will be a stress accumulated on the vehicles, the components of the car, and it starts to go down in performance, and one day it gets goes for repairs. Similar thing happens in it's a system, in a closed system, and for anything to last long, there should be friction free flow of energy. That is what Vastu does.
Sudhaji, you mentioned a few things of what should not be where in when we are talking about the house. Like for instance, in South you said there should be fire. So can you give us 4-5 basic tips to our audience so that they know that in their house, what is there and what remedy also they can do?
Yeah, in fact, I have written down, a list of things. If I have time, I'll cover everything. First thing they have to do is they have everybody, whether it's their own house or whether it is a rented house, doesn't matter. Stand in the approximate center. You don't have to measure the dimensions. Stand in the approximate center. Look at your digital compass or any other compass, magnetic compass. Arrive at the directions. Okay, and you cut it into 3x3 grid. We just showed you how to cut it into 3 equal parts, so that different, wherever the magnetic compass shows you 0 degree, that becomes your northern direction. You see here, left hand side, the center part of the left hand side, you see as north. That is where your 0 degree is in the compass. So the other directions you will arrive at it. Okay, and then just standing in the center in the Brahma zone, just look at the whole, just turn around and see from which part maximum light is entering. What does that mean? Light is equal to window openings or door openings or any kind of openings to the outside world. So that means you are connected to the outside world through that zone. So just observe which zone has lot of energy. As long as lot of energy is coming from Idanadi Pravaha, that is northwest, northeast and eastern direction, you are very, very lucky. Okay, in such houses, you try to reduce the loading. You just have to look at your things, what you have kept inside your house. Like for example, you have huge furnitures which are very very heavy, kept in those directions. Try to replace them with lighter things. When you do that, you are maximizing the positivity. But you don't worry about that, but you look at the other directions, the negative directions. And suppose maximum light, the energy is, see, I'm not, when I say light, it is not the visible part of light. There are other vibrations that come along also when there is an opening. For example, vibrations from Saturn, I'm just giving example, the planetary vibrations. So if they're coming from the Pingala Nadi Pravaha zone, you may have to cut down the openings, number of openings, or the size of the openings. Maybe you want to load that zone, rearrange whatever you have within your homes, which can be your cupboards, it can be your furniture, and it can be your huge planters also sometimes. And if you have balconies and openings towards the southern side and the western side, create garden there in that zone, within your flats or homes. When you add garden in that zone, what happens is the earth element increases, the matter increases. That means the energy reduces, the negative energy automatically gets controlled. You don't have to spend on anything, with whatever you have, rearrange. That is the first thing you can do, rearranging the load that you have. Okay, and then suppose the positive energy zones that I call as the Ida Nadi zones are closed. You don't have any windows. What does that mean? Light is not traveling. Light carries lot of good energy. It is not traveling from that direction towards the Brahmastan. So you have to, artificially create that. How do you do that? By, applying mirror surfaces. Just fix a mirror there in the direction, especially center of the north. If there is no window, just put a huge mirror there. People ask me, what should be the size of the mirror? I would say as much money as you want. It should be in proportion to the kind of money you want, because center of the north is known as the Lakshmi Pravaha zone. That is the zone, actually that is the zone of Kubera, Lord Kubera. Lord Kubera is the Lord of wealth. So the people who have closed northern directions will certainly over a period of time get into financial difficulty. This is connected. So it really helps if they can put up huge mirrors in the center of the northern wall. Similarly, if the center of the eastern wall is also not giving you any energy because there is no window opening, there also you apply huge mirrors and make artificial flow of light happen. It can be your own, it can be an artificial light also, bulb. Maybe you can hang a chandelier there in front so that light gets reflected and travels from east to west. You are making prana move from east to west even though there is no window, artificially. So when you do that, it counters, the absence of, windows, the Vastu dosh. It's a remedy. Also, similarly, you have to reduce the loading. Suppose you have huge almiras there or something is heavy, remove. Sometimes, even your toilets are energy blocks. This is one thing. Major thing that bothers people is the placement of toilets, the wrong placement of toilets. Suppose they are there in the wrong zone where pranic energy is coming from eastern direction, or the jaivic energy, that is your gravitational energy from earth, is coming from the northern direction, but you have huge toilet blocks. Eastern toilet gives you health related problems, northern toilet gives you financial problems and mind related problems, the depression and all. So you have to energize, you have to learn ways to energize. Energizing is, one is the mirror, the second is reduction of load. These two are very 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 effective. You please do that, these things, just look around your own house. Then there are yogic remedies also, which people who are already in the path of yoga will find it.
Ask you, like, is there any connection between yoga and Vastu Shastra, and can we do some yogic remedies to opt for the Vastu, because for many people, they've already built their houses. They might not be able to change things in the houses. So in those kind of cases, what can they do for each direction?
Oh, yeah. See, since you said the Yoga Shastra is the mother of Vastu Shastra. That is what my guru says, from whom I learned Vastu Shastra. So every rule, in there is one yogic scripture called Shivaswarodaya, in which goddess Parvati is asking Lord Shiva about the patterns of breath and how it should be controlled and different things on that. So in that, there is a simple clue for us in Vastu, for Vastu, that is, Lord Shiva says, Ida Nadi Pravaha is Shubha Sanketa Dai in Sanskrit. What it means that it is like a signal of, it is showing you people having a lot of energy coming from Ida Nadi Pravaha are connected to positivity, and positive events happen, and their life is full of celebrations. All positive events happen. And the Pingala Nadi Pravaha zones connect you to Kathina Krura Karma. That is, lots of problems or challenging situations, one after the other. You take care of one, the other is ready. That kind of a situation happens when maximum energy into any house is coming from these directions. So the simple thing is, Sudarshan Kriya. Sudarshan Kriya takes care of all your southern side problems, south, whatever is related to your chitta, that is your memory. So the Sudarshan, whenever you have Pingala Nadi Pravaha, increased negativity in your homes, lot of openings are there, balconies are there, in such situation, Sudarshan Kriya, practice of regular Sudarshan Kriya definitely helps you. Similarly, we will come from the eastern direction. East and southeast are connected to fire element. So anything to build up fire in your body, those practices should be done more regularly, like Bastrika. For eastern fault, suppose you have a blind wall in the east and there is no opening there, and probably there is a toilet also, which is energy block. In such cases, progress is not happening at all. Usually what I hear is, when I go for visits, they say we are in the same situation we were 5 years ago. There is no progress. So that is when east is closed. So you have to do this Bhastrika Pranayam and Kapal Bhati. That is when the fire element gets balanced in your body. Similarly, when the west is having problem, you do all kinds of pranic, because west is wind element, so anything related to your breathing practices, even ujjayi breathing, and also reiki. Northwest is also wind element, so ujjayi breathing and reiki or any kind of pranic healing really helps in working with the wind element related problems. Wind element is connected to your buddhi. Sometimes it is also connected to your business also. West is the zone connected to all kinds of partnerships. So suppose people who are into marriage, who are married, and even otherwise, all kinds of partnerships. It can be marital partnership, or it can be business partnership. When the west is not giving you, and when west is giving you too much of Saturn vibrations, that is when it is too wide open, you have a balcony or an extension or huge openings, or lightness, that is walls are missing. That is when you do these practices connected to wind element. Really it helps. And then when you have especially northern side, depression is connected to northern side, any practice of meditation, it can be of any type. It can be vipassana, it can be our own sahaj. If you practice, especially women are supposed to, because north is connected to motherly figures. So women in the family should practice practice meditation regularly. And northeast being the most positive direction, if it is having Vastu dosh, problems in the Vastu, then you have to do Soham Sadhana. Soham Sadhana is doing sadhana while observing your own breath. Okay, so these are the yogic practices that can be done on a regular basis to get rid of the Vastu dosh. So similarly, there are other types of remedies, like, as I said, playing with the loads. And if we have time, I'll give you some more clues. Maybe later in the course of the program, I can give you some more tips.
Yeah, yeah. There's like so much, I think, coming up, like so much to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you for all this. We'll just like take up, I think, a few more, and we'll meditate a little bit, and then take up some of the questions. So some of the
Okay.
audience has left us questions. We have like seven, eight
Yes. Yes.
already. So,
Okay.
so
So
I
another point I forgot to mention. I will, the most, everybody should do this. It is something connected to our breath. It is known as Swara Yoga. This I've been observed. It's a very, very simple success. It's a wonderful tool that you can use when you wake up. Just when you wake up, before your feet touches the ground, you don't get off the bed, sit on the on the bed itself. You observe which nostril is functional at that time, the breathing, active nostril. Just check it whether ida nadi is more active, or whichever, and you just check it. And corresponding leg should touch mother earth first. You just do this, how the day goes, how beautifully the day goes, and you will accomplish everything you want to do in that day, and there will be least number of challenges during the day. So this is something everyone can do easily. That is one. Second is, where whenever you are sitting at home and either doing puja, or when you are meditating, or when you are studying, or it can be when you're working from home, please face only the positive direction, like the northern direction, or the eastern direction, or the northeastern direction. These things you do, the quality of your life changes. This is.
left this particular question on YouTube as well. 4 5 people have left. Where should be the puja room? I think you talked about this, so you can maybe tell this as well. So, where do we keep the puja room, and why people have asked?
Okay. See, why is the first thing I will answer. When you take the body of the Vastu Purusha, northeastern corner, the name of the deity is Isha. We take the body of the Vastu Purusha, the whole house, cut it into a grid of 9 by 9, making into 81 different parts. Each one is guarded by a particular deity. And the deity which is in charge of the northeastern side is Isha. Isha is means what? It's the Lord of everything. So when the northeast corner is given as Isha, that is the most divine zone, and the head of the Vastu Purusha is also aligned to northeastern direction. So this is the reason why you should have your puja room planned in the northeast. But do not worry if it is not possible. If you are already in some other house where northeast has something else, maybe your room is planned there, for some other activity. So don't worry about it. As long as the deities that you place are aligned to the east wall or the west wall, that means they are facing west or east. Anywhere you can keep, except in the place where you sleep. Because where we sleep, there is a lot of tamasic energy. So we do not keep idols and our puja assembly in the bedrooms. So anywhere else is fine. But usually when we sit for prayers, as we should be receiving the energy. So we should be facing east or the northern direction. So ideally, the wall, the gods on the eastern wall, and you facing the gods, the idols. So east facing. That is the most ideal. And it happens in the northeast corner without any problem. Ideally. It can be
We
anywhere else.
the north, and they should be facing the east. So it's like
That
that.
is also possible, because suppose there is no space, there is a door for the puja room from the western side. Then you don't want to sit in front of the door or something. See, usually when do you face north is when the idols are on the western wall. If they are on the western wall, if you are sitting right opposite the idols, you are facing western direction, which we don't want, because west is not an energy giving direction. So you want to face northern side. And like in the temples, sideways, you do the puja sideways. Let the idols be on the west wall, but you face the northern side and offer the puja, the prayers. So ideal place for puja. So but another thing is, northeast being the most positive direction, the energy is very, very high there. So you should not load that zone. Usually the Indian households have a temple which beats a temple outside. It has so many layers of stone platform. Then you have everything, some tens of photos, and your large metal statues. Please don't load it. You have to keep it very, very minimum. If possible, use the silver or white marble, very light. Wood is also fine, as long as it is good wood. No problem. It should be very light in assembly. Don't go for a huge room with 4 walls which is completely closed. It acts like a load. You don't need a room at all, actually. Doesn't matter, you can have a small setup, no problem, but it should be very, very light. Yeah. So do we have time?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I think we'll just do maybe a short meditation, then we'll take up more questions. We have lots of questions, and an audience on YouTube has been constantly sending us questions saying, please answer them, answer them. So
Yeah.
we'll just meditate, and this is one tradition we've followed. Sudha and I were talking earlier, and we were just discussing that if on the path of yoga, one just keeps practicing like asanas, pranayamas, meditating every single day, it takes care of most of the doshas that are there automatically. And that is why we'll notice that in the life of yogis, no matter where they go, in what circumstances they are automatically in harmony with everything, because the yogic sciences, they just make you in harmony with everything around, even if it is not there physically in the environment. So we'll
Yes.
just meditate for a few minutes, just a little bit conscious of the breath. So today we've talked a lot of the Ida and the Pingala Nadi. So we'll start with the Nadi Shodhan Pranayama today. So then for the Nadi Shodhan, those who are new, you can bring the index finger and the thumb of the left hand together, 3 fingers joined and pointing out. The index finger and middle finger of the right hand in between the eyebrows, thumb on the right nostril, little finger, ring finger on the left nostril. You can close your eyes. If you're new, you can open and just see for a few moments. Take a breath in through both the nostrils. Closing the right, exhale from the left. Inhale from the left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. And just continue moving in the alternate nostril. Breathing from left and exhaling from right, and then inhaling from right and exhaling from left. With every breath, keep making it lighter and lighter, effortless. After completing this round, as you exhale from the left nostril, relax totally. Let the palms be open to the ceiling, resting on the knees or the thighs. Gently bringing your attention to the body, noticing if the spine is still straight or not. With a smile, take a deep breath in. And with a smile, exhale. Bringing gentle awareness to the breath. Noticing the temperature of the breath that is going in and that is coming out. One more breath in and exhale. Noticing the incoming breath is a little cooler and the outgoing breath a little bit warmer, becoming aware of this phenomena with every breath. One more breath in and exhale. We chant Om once. Let's breathe in for Om. Noticing the energy, the vibrations in the body from the chant. Manobuddhyahankar Cetani Naham Nacha Shrotra Jive Nacha Grana Netre न च व्योमभूमिर्न तेजो न वायु चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं स्वरूपोऽहम्. Letting go of all efforts, relax and repose in yourself. Take one more breath in and breathe out. Feel that peace and bliss showering all over you. With a smile, another joyful breath in and exhale. Become aware of your body. Become aware of the surroundings. Keeping the eyes closed, gently move the fingers a little. You can gently move your neck from side to side. You can move the body a little. However you feel. And just like you would wake up after a nice nap, you may, with a smile, open your eyes. So hope you enjoy the meditation. Let us know in the comments if you did. A little bit of meditation, a little bit of yoga every day is a very, very good idea. And we wanted to make it easy for everyone to just inculcate that. If you would like to practice yoga as well, we do send out videos every single day, a calendar for the whole month. And just make sure that you practice a little bit of time. Today's session, I think, was such an eye-opening session on just being friendly with the environment around, taking even our house as a living entity. I think that's one thing which is the most beautiful about the Indian culture, that we have this reverence for every single thing. Many people ask, why do you worship so many gods? Why do you worship, every single thing, stones? But I think that's a way that our ancient seers inculcated a sense of reverence, a sense of that gratitude, and they knew that every single thing impacts us. So even our house, like just we saw today, is an extension. I really liked when Sudaji, you said it's the Vastu Purusha. And it's we consider it as a living entity, and I think that'll be really nice if our relationships to our houses also can be taken that way. Shall we take up the question, Sudhaji?
Yes, we will. We are ready for it now. After your beautiful, energizing meditation, I'm up for anything.
Thank you. Um, Energy is asking, hello ma'am, can you please tell us the Vedic Vastu tips to remove and to protect the house from negative energies?
From negative energies. Uh, there is a concept called Vikshepa Devata. Hmm? Vikshepa Devata is what is a Devata? In terms of Vastu, what a Devata means is nothing but a energy field. When we draw this Vastu Purusha Mandala using 10 lines by 10 lines to get 9 by 9 grid, each one of these lines have a name. Kanta, Shanta, Pranavahini. These are the names given. These are nothing but energy grids, the lines. So it's the crisscross of energy fields and within which in our house is built. So each energy line is a deity, deity. It's given a name. So, for example, if you look at the central part of the southern side in the Vastu Purusha Mandala, I'm just trying to show you some interesting feature here. The name of the deity is Yama. Okay, Yama is, as we know, is the what is it symbol? What does it symbolizes? Death, isn't it? So it's the Lord of Death. So what does that mean? So all these names are not randomly chosen. These are actually based on the kind of vibration that is coming in from those directions. That is exactly why we say, we have to guard our Pingala Nadi Pravaha zones carefully. We should not allow unwanted vibrations to come inside. When our viewer just now asked about, how do we protect our homes from negative energy? What it means is that only when there is a compromise in this peripheral zone, like there is a vastu dosh which should not be there, is there. For example, a balcony is not supposed to be there in the central part of south, and you have it, only then it is a compromise situation. The negative vibrations can come inside. So what we need to do is, first of all, identify the Pingala Nadi Pravaha zone and take care of, just load those directions. There is no magic trick here. It is totally purely based on rules, laws of physics. So you have to load that zone. You artificially create any kind of loading. Also cut the light that is traveling from that direction. Suppose you have a huge bay window to the southern side, you have to reduce, especially in the central part of the south, where we call it as the Yama energy. You just try to close it up, any which way. You can even just put up some wooden board or something, or even your cupboard can be, shifted there, so that light from that zone is stopped. So this is how, in our aura, before, when there is a saying that when we fall ill, even 6 months before, in the aura, that is our energy body, there will be little indentations, like there will be some openings, and through which the negative energy can enter inside. Similarly, you have to treat your house also. Whenever in the Pingala Nadi Pravaha zone where we are prone to negative vibrations, we have to cut and reduce the number of openings. That is the first thing we have to do. So check your south, check your southwest, check your southeast, check your west also, and try to reduce the number of openings. Keep ventilations, no problem, but let them not be like huge openings like balconies and extensions. And you have sit outs there, you walk out of the house also there. Those things you have to avoid if possible. Try to add gardens there. If you can't do, if it's an apartment, add garden. That's the best thing. And there are for different directions. I told you the concept of vikshepa devata. So the whatever is inside the 81 deities, the 45 deities take care of the 81 grids. Forget that. But outside, just outside the house, the periphery of the house are another set of 8 deities, one for northeast, east, southeast, all these directions, 8 different directions. There is one negative energy zone. Those are the vikshepa devatas. So how do you take care of that is, again, identifying the vastu dosh and eliminating it. That is the only easiest way. But otherwise, the people, when people ask, they want to do some easy simple things. So first thing is your door. Door is the main door, is your it's like your eyes and ears. It is connecting you to the outside world. So try, this is a very simple trick. Haldi, the turmeric powder. It represents earth element, and it has the power to, it's very antiseptic, antiviral. It has all kinds of good properties to control all kinds of germs and any kind of invasion of such microscopic unwanted things. So earlier we had, the grandmas used to do that. We just smear haldi all across. Just that is the one best thing you can do. And lighting diya, that is your lamps, every evening, and keeping one on either side, that is also another thing you can do. When you do that, it has light, is another energy form that has great ability to shoo away unwanted vibrations. So two diya on either side. Earlier, that is why they would say you have your tulsi vrindavan and light one deepa, diya, every evening. That was made into a ritual, but there was a purpose, that your threshold is always lit. Earlier times also, they were trying to, because there were no street lamps at the time. So this was a culture, they developed. So that is another thing. But the most important, another very, very useful thing, which I also do, is, something known as magic mixture. Maybe, you can note down, there are certain ingredients that you put together. Take one earthen pot, okay? Earthen pot, like a big diya size, take one earthen pot, put 1 spoon of white rice, uncooked rice. And then another half a spoon or 1 spoon of white till and black till. Okay, this is for Saturn. We are trying to put different things for different planets now. Okay, white till and black till, and then you also put 1 or 2 cloves, cloves. And then you take some camphor and crush it and put it in the same heap. And then you want to light it, so you also need some ghee, cow ghee, preferred. Maybe half a spoon of cow ghee, you put it, and use some good quality cotton into that. You dip it in the ghee and put it there. Mix them up together and just burn it. When you burn it, and either you put it in the Brahmastan, that is the center part, or you put it in the southeastern corner, which is Agni zone for the house. So in these two places, you choose whatever is safe for you. Because when kids are around, you have to be a little careful. So you keep it, and till it burns. Probably you want to sit either in front of it or somewhere in a meditative posture, and just observe the energies. What happens is, through our nostrils, this smell, the dhoop, that whatever, you also can crush some dhoop into it for good fragrance. So this whole thing, when you inhale, it directly touches, through our nostrils, the hypothalamus gets activated, and immediately whatever negativity has been bothering you, you come out of it within, a fraction of a second. You do this, and the whole fragrance is so divine. Your home starts to feel like a temple. Whatever, fragrance you get when you visit a temple, same thing happens in your own home. This is a magic mixture, we call it, and it has every ingredient for at least 7 planets here. So, that takes care of any kind of negative vibration. Do it at the, at the time of dusk, maybe around 6 o'clock or something. You really, really feel very good. Sometimes, when you go out and, maybe you had a, fight with somebody, you're very depressed, you can't come out of it for days sometimes, that is when you should remember to do this. Immediately your aura gets cleansed. You feel, this is something you can all do.
Do you make a wick out of that, like a diya only you light it, or it's just
No,
like
no, not at all. That is why when you crush this camphor and pour some ghee around and mix it up, it ignites easily. Nothing to worry at all. It ignites by itself. And doop also, you would have crushed it and put it into the same. It's like a heap. You put it and light it with your matchstick, and it catches fire. And almost this much of whatever I told you will burn for at least 5 minutes. That is why don't be very generous and don't use too much. It will go on burning for an hour. So just a little quantity, you take at a time and then do it.
I think this was really helpful. This is really
Yeah,
amazing.
it's very useful.
Someone has also asked, like on similar lines, like why do people use lemon and green chilies? Is there any reason? Does it prevent negative energy from entering the house?
Yeah, see, lemon is connected to Rahu. They say Rahu is something which Rahu is nothing but your own mind, actually. It's the other node of moon. So, any kind of negative energy, Rahu actually is the planet which guards the southwestern corner, which is the most negative zone in your house. So, the Pitru zone, the deity there in the Vastu Purusha is known as Pitru. So anything related to your Sarpa dosha, all these are connected to southwestern corner. So it's a most negative zone, and Rahu is the ruling planetary lord there. And so lemon has some kind of, it has the power to absorb negative. And it is, I don't believe in these things because I have never tried it. I don't know the logic behind it, but this is connected to the absorption of vibe. It's like an indicator, it's like a flag. It tells you whether there has been an encroachment of negative energy. So that's just an indicator. It does not take away the negativity. It just indicates, that is why I don't do it. Now, what doesn't make sense to me, I don't follow. So it is just an indicator. It does not remove the vibrations. So some people do that. I've seen them in shops, some people keep it, so they know what they do is maybe, at that time they have to increase their spiritual practices, when you see that it's indicating. Yeah.
We have like so many questions. I don't think we'll be able to take all of them, but we'll maybe take like two, three more if you are okay with it.
Yes, we will.
Uh, yes is asking, I would like to know what is the best direction to sleep?
Sleep, is it? Ha. Beautiful question, because the good sleep prepares you better for the next day. So because of the time, I will rush, and all adults can sleep with their head towards the southern side and feet to the northern side, all grown-ups. Okay. And for children who are growing up, smaller children up to the age of say 14, 15, till they come to teenage, they need more of pranic energy. So they can keep their head to the eastern direction and feet to the western direction. So only two directions, good direction. One is south and one is east. So south is for adults, east is for growing up children. That's it. No other directions. West or your northern direction is something everybody should avoid for scientific reasons, because that upsets your rhythm, in your magnetic, biorhythm in your body. and every cell starts to behave, erratically, that is when the composition of cell goes haywire and all these organic problems start, like tumors. And you should never align to your head to northern direction. That is one thing you should know and avoid. Okay.
And can adults also sleep with their head in the east if
East.
nothing?
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes, you can't, because maybe there is a window in the northern direction and you catch cold easily. So no problem. You can put your head to the eastern direction. East is the second best direction for them, for adults.
Um, One person had Tilakji had asked, are there any shortcuts, Vastu shortcuts?
What Vastu shortcuts is hiring an expert to do it for you. No shortcuts.
I think that was just perfect. Like the shortest shortcut is get an expert to do it for you.
Yeah, no other shortcuts.
Had asked like can we have a consultation as well? So I'll share the details of the workshop that Sudhaji is taking towards the end. We'll take maybe 2-3 more questions and just finish it.
Yes.
So someone had asked if the building is already constructed and are there modifications that can be done and make it more Vastu compliant if we cannot change the structure as such.
Yeah, see, I've been in this line for 12 years and I've done structural alteration only in 2 houses, just 2 houses. You don't have to do structural alterations all the time. There are remedial methods, available for such situations. In apartments, especially the branded apartments, they don't allow you to make any change in the exterior wall at all. They won't allow you to make a window, they won't allow you to shift your door or anything. So there are other ways. Applied Vastu comes into play here. We understand the essence of Vastu and try to apply it to your modern situations. So remedial measures are there to help you out, definitely, but you may need our help, people who are in this line. Otherwise, structural changes, in my case, as an individual, I believe that we should not, when somebody builds a home with hard-earned money, we have no business to say do this and do that if it is not necessary. So so I say, only if it is necessary, and if the Vastu is so severe, the situation is so severe that it may lead to fatal situations, only in such cases we have to do alterations, especially when you have your main door in the Yama zone. I told you the Yama zone, that is like inviting untimely events. So that is when we say shift your main door from Yama zone. That is the only situation which asks for structural changes. There are some more situations which are complicated. Case to case basis we have to handle them. So remedies.
So one last question I think we'll take. So this is for all the homes that are there in, so the question is, all the homes there in US in such areas have basements. And as per Vastu, you should not be having anything underground. So what is the remedy in those cases when it's already a done deal?
Yes. See, basement is fit only for rodents. That's what we say. Who can live in basements? Only and the rodents. So Vastu Shastra was not, because see, every 6 inches, the quality of vibrations change. So when you dig up to make a basement, especially in the Pingala Nadi Pravaha zones, where we are supposed to load and control the unwanted vibration, when we dig up, it is like, activating the negative energy streams. Just by having one basement, it takes away all the other virtues. Your house may be beautifully designed, well, all the Vastu rules are applied inside in the layout, etc. But the basement takes away all the positivity. But one good thing for people residing in USA, a very fortunate thing is that in this global Vastu, when we apply the global Vastu in the global scenario, the whole of USA or any of the American countries, they are in the northern hemisphere. isn't it? So in the northern hemisphere, the whole zone behaves like, we have to understand, we can't directly apply, as is, what is applicable in a tropical country like India, directly we cannot apply this. We have to understand the essence and what is the crux of it, the logic part of it. So the whole of the land behaves like northern mass, whole. So the southern problems do not bother there, this, whatever maximum vastu dosh in the, because of the basement in the southern side and all, they don't bother you much. But what you still need to do is that within your when you are living in your other upper floors, the connection between the basement and the house should not be from within the house. It should be from outside the house. Maybe you can lock it up also. No, directly, if you are in from the living room, you should not have stairs going down into the basement. You should have a corner, some corner. From there, you have to climb down, which can be separated from the main house. That is when it does not bother you. That is the remedial trick that you have to follow.
I think we'll call it today because I think we've already far exceeded, but this was so interesting, and thank you so much, Sudhaji. So for our upcoming, for our upcoming workshop, I'll just share the details. Any of you who are interested to learn more about Vastu Shastra can join in for the workshop. So you can check out the details are there on the screen. So this is going to be the next workshop. The contact details are also there. So you can join her and learn much, much more in the coming days. And next week, we will also be having a workshop on Marma. So Marma we will be having. So another, yogic science we'll be bringing so that it's holistic. The approach is all holistic.
I would like to attend your Marma workshop because I want to see the relationship between the two. There will be, like how we have in our body the vulnerable points. I think you're going to learn about it. Thank you so much. You're doing amazing activities, Kushpindarji. I'm very happy to be a part of your, thing.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
There were so many, I think, more questions that were there. We could not take up all of them. And while we were talking, there was also so much that was coming up about astrology, which actually made me want to have one more with you on astrology. Maybe we will plan it sometime. I had learned it like from you, and it was like a really, really amazing and eye-opening, experience. And I think anyone who's on the spiritual path, on the yogic path, should have a little bit knowledge at least of these aspects as well. So
Yes.
thank you so very much for joining us. It's honestly been a pleasure. I didn't realize how 1.5 hours just went by, and I just wanted to keep knowing more and more. And I think our viewers would also have felt a similar thing. So if you're watching this live, do let us know in the comments how Sudhaji's session was for you, and if you would like to have another session with her, going forward. And also we are having our group classes and online classes. I just wanted to let people know if anyone would like to, especially for yoga therapy or pregnancy, prenatal or postnatal, or just to keep yourself healthy, a holistic approach to yoga. So you can contact us for group classes as well. So thank you so much for joining us. May you stay fit and calm.
Thank you so very much. I will come back, if you allow me. Thank you. Thank
Yes,
you.
yes. Thank you to all the viewers for